What is your message to America?
I'm saying we love Americans, but the president.
The past week has been nuts, and it appears, hopefully, maybe, at least for now, that things are sort of settling down. So, following the U.S. assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, last night Iran attacked a U.S. base in Iraq as retaliation for the death of Soleimani, but attacked bases that were unoccupied. So it was clear that Iran's retaliation was not meant to kill anybody. So following the missile strike, Iran's foreign minister tweeted this out saying, Iran took and concluded proportionate measures in self-defense under Article 51 of UN Charter, targeting base from which cowardly armed attack against our citizens and senior officials were launched. We do not seek escalation or war, but we will defend ourselves against any aggression. And Cal Perry of NBC tweeted after the news of the strike saying, this was a very calculated strike from Iran to satisfy domestic consumption coupled with extreme rhetoric. Make no mistake, if Iran wanted to kill Americans, they could. So, understand here. Iran's strike was a reaction to an assassination of one of their top leaders, their top general, Soleimani, a Mike Pence-like figure in Iran. So imagine if Iran killed Mike Pence while Mike Pence was abroad doing something. Imagine the reaction from the U.S. government. Now compare your imagination of that reaction to how Iran reacted here. Like, understand who the aggressor is here. It's the United States. It is not Iran. Now, before I get to Trump's speech this morning on this, his reaction to this, I just want to show you this clip that I saw on Twitter about what the Iranian people think. So this appears to be a clip from, I think, Nightline, and they're interviewing somebody in a crowd. I believe this is during the funeral for Soleimani, and you would assume at this point, right, that Iranians would hate Americans after they just killed one of their top leaders, but they don't hate Americans. Watch this video.
Is this democracy? Are we human or not? What should we do? You tell us.
What is your message to America?
I'm saying we love Americans, but the president.
So in case you missed that, he said, we love Americans, but we hate your president. Who's the terrorist here? Who's the aggressor? It's not the Iranian people. It's not even the Iran leadership. It's the U.S. government. It always has been. For decades, the U.S. government has been the aggressor. Now, let me show you Trump's response here, which thankfully, at least for now, it looks like they're not going to continue these sorts of attacks or an escalation to war necessarily. But let me play you pieces from Trump's speech this morning.
Good morning. I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything. Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world. As we continue to evaluate options in response to Iranian aggression, the United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior. The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal, or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place. We must also make a deal that allows Iran to thrive and prosper and take advantage of its enormous untapped potential. Iran can be a great country. Peace and stability cannot prevail in the Middle East as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it. Finally, to the people and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future, and a great future, one that you deserve, one of prosperity at home and harmony with the nations of the world. The United States is ready to embrace peace with all who seek it. I want to thank you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So the good news here is that there is no further military action coming from the U.S. The bad news is that Donald Trump is still the president, and who knows what the hell's next. So I guess they're going to increase economic sanctions even further, which will in turn increase tensions. And then he brings up the Iran deal, like if it was some horrible deal. When the Iran deal was in place, none of this was happening. The U.S. government, Donald Trump's administration, has been increasing tensions the entire time. They are the aggressors that have caused all of this to happen. And what, he's going to try and sign a new Iran deal, like a new NAFTA, which is basically the exact same thing that it was before. I mean, look, if that ends up being the case, and somehow Iran decides to work with this idiot, and they do sign a new Iran deal, fine. If it's the exact same thing, I guess, okay. But then it just puts you back into the same situation you were just in, while Trump is pretending to do anything, when he's really, all he's doing is ripping up contracts or ripping up deals and then signing the exact same deal that he just ripped up to pretend like he did something. It's unbelievable. Now, let me give you Ryan Cooper in the week. He had a take on this. I'll share a link to it, the full article below, but I just want to read a piece of it here. Trump's erratic actions make for a jarring comparison with Iranian restraint. Assassinating Soleimani was an egregious violation of one of the baseline rules of international diplomacy. If two countries are not at war, then their senior leadership is off limits to attack. For if it's fine to kill Iranian statesmen while they are traveling to a peace conference in public and undefended, then it's fine for Iran or some other power to blow up, say, Vice President Pence when he is on a diplomatic trip to Ireland or somewhere. It would not be ideal to have the entire planet be a free fire zone for top diplomats and statesmen. Of course, the U.S. has violated this rule dozens of times in the past, though never so spectacularly. What's more, this entire conflict is 100% Trump's fault. Iran was faithfully adhering to the nuclear deal struck during the Obama administration, only for Trump to renege on American promises for no reason and reimpose sanctions in 2018. Now he's murdered a popular Iranian leader over attacks on the U.S. embassy that were only partly related to Iran. And let's not forget that as of 2015, Trump had plainly never heard of either Soleimani or the Quds Force, which he commanded. So there you go. This idiot needs to get out. And look, if the Democrats, they're already fumbling with impeachment. 25th Amendment should have been dealt with a long time ago. I mean, this man is unstable. But if it's going to come to an election in 2020, there's been only one candidate that has been solid in his position on this, been solid on being anti-war, and has had a completely different approach to foreign policy than anybody else in the race, and that's Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders actually approaches foreign policy as a way to spread humanitarianism, as opposed to what Americans have done for, I don't know, the past 70 years, and that's blow shit up. So if you want to move away from this crap and you want to stop living in a world where you're afraid all the time, you're afraid for humanity, afraid for the planet, not even to mention climate change and everything that comes with that, you have to support a candidate that actually is taking these issues seriously and looks at humanity as not us versus them, but as we are all in this together, and let's actually create a planet that works for everyone.